I'm David Mark and I write the DS Aector McAvoy series. I spent a long time as a journalist. I was quite close to people whose lives were touched by tragedy and grief, and I kind of wanted to represent the real life of a policeman and the real life of victims and the people whose lives are connected by these horrible events. That rather grim origin evolved into the series with a very good man fighting his way through some very horrible times. Aector McAvoy is very much my hero, and hopefully he'll be yours as well. He represents the policemen and women that I used to meet on a daily basis when I was still a journalist. He wants to get home to his wife and children, and he wants to make the world a slightly better place. He's not a drunk, he's not somebody who only sees his kids on a weekend. He knows exactly what matters to him. He's almost a stranger to the very brutal world that he inhabits, and although he annoys the hell out of me sometimes, he's the best man I've ever met. McAvoy's situation is both a blessing and a curse in that there are two very important women in his life. One is his wife, Roisin, who is of traveller origin and who adores him and who he lives for in every possible way. But the other part of his life is the rather formidable and fearsome and incredibly sexy Trish, who is his boss and the best police officer you could begin to imagine. So he's constantly torn between these two women who tolerate one another. And it's just to add an extra blush to him, really. And I have to apologise quite often for being quite so cruel. People often ask me why I write about Hull, and I don't really feel that I do. I write about the north. I'm from Cumbria, which is about as far north as you can go without being Scottish. But my journalistic career took me all over the country, and when I arrived in Hull as a crime reporter, I just found this untapped landscape of incredible architectural beauty that nobody had really written about. It was a blank canvas where I could imagine almost any kind of novel happening. But because I'm drawn to the dark side, I had to write about crime, and therefore they say you should write what you know, and that led me to pick Hull as the setting for the novels. I'm very lucky in that I've read far too many books and far too many crime books to be considered entirely normal, and there's very few that have genuinely changed my life or moved me, but there are those ones where I think I've been transported to a place that I'd like to be transported to again. And that's usually something to do with either the power of the character, the strength of the story, or the beauty of the words. And whichever of those three things mean most to you, I just hope that you meet McAvoy and fall in love with him.